It's Friday, and I'm back with the next in our Fanzine Friday series. Today we're taking a look at a new fanzine. It's called Dungeons Chronicle. We start today with Dungeons Chronicle number 1. Please stick around. I'm AZ Mountaineer, and this is our channel, Old School Rules, where we celebrate the community of old school gamers and grognards who like classic RPGs, miniatures, magazines, and everything that goes with it. Each week on the Fanzine Friday series, I take a fanzine from my collection off the shelf for a closer look, and today I'm really excited to share one with you. Most of you have probably never heard of it. I'd never heard of it until I found it. It's called Dungeons Chronicle. It's from 1976. Can't wait to tell you about it. Hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're starting a new fanzine today. This one is called Dungeons Chronicle. It's on 8.5 by 11 pages. It's basically just photocopied. Everything's printed on one side of the page, and mine, as you can see, is bound together. It has some holes in it. Most of them have holes in them as if they were 2 or 3 hole punched to be kept. This one comes to us from a group from Colombia, Missouri. It's from 1976, so they're playing brown box or white box original D&D rules. And so it's a really early one. I've never heard about it, never seen anybody talk about it. And so I'm hoping by the time I'm done looking at these 6, I have numbers 1 through 6. I'm not sure how many there are. A lot of these fanzines had short runs, so that may be all of them. It's very much a home campaign product. I see in some of the editorials they talk about the fact that each issue is done by a different member of the gaming group. So let's get into this and take a closer look. Here's the art. One of the things you'll notice about Dungeons Chronicle, at least one of the members of this group is an excellent artist. And so here's a rough looking group of orcs all stacked up in it like, it's an army, right? Not a lot of information given in terms of attributions necessarily, but the initials here suggest to me, based on the name, that this art is by a gentleman named Paul Young White Hawk. And as I mentioned, it tells me in a later issue of this fanzine that they started at the end. They say December of 1976, if I'm reading that correctly. And you'll notice, like I said, it was photocopied, so some of these are cut off just a little bit at the bottom of the top. They don't start numbering until they actually get into the content, so they've got sort of an introduction page here with some more artwork. It says, "Welcome to the new first edition of Dungeons Chronicle. Thanks for everyone who helped out. We finally got this together and have got this for you." There's a lot of rough language here, I'll tell you, throughout the magazine, so just for what it's worth. They mention a gentleman named Kenneth Sibley and Kevin McCauley, as well as Paul Young Whitehawk and Fritz Fleming. There's one other name that looks like it maybe was cut off when they stuck the artwork on top of what they typed. I have no idea. These guys probably were fairly young when they did this. I don't know. So let me get out of the way. And then you can see here, they have their own table of contents, hand-drawn, like it's a hand is holding a book. They've got Power Word, Kill, and some ruins on the left, and then the table of contents there on the right. The first thing up is the new character class. It's called the Prophet. It's okay. It's the kind of thing you would tend to see early on in people's campaigns as they're trying to come up with clever ideas. It's sort of like a cleric. They use curved weapons only. They get cleric spells. It says if you meet an NPC, there's a high chance that they will give you dishonest information. So I guess it's sort of, I don't know if it's supposed to be fun or funny or what the thought process is there. And they get some spells. They get some unique spells as well. So let me show you those. So palm reading is basically you cast that, you look at someone's palm, then you're able to know their alignment, their character class, and their level. Fright would frighten up to 3 people. Smoke will cast enough smoke to cover 3 people. Also, it says to be used for dramatic effect. Hypnosis has, the way it works is there's a saving throw to see if you go into a trance. If once you're in a trance, there's another saving throw as the prophet tries to plant a suggestion. If you make that, the prophet can take another 5 rounds. You get another saving throw, and so on until he finally plants a suggestion or the spell runs out and the trance expires. Second level spells that are new, trance allows the prophet to go into a trance and seek an answer to a particular question. 10% chance plus 5% per level. Most of these spells, I should say, are going to be like the ones that are already in the book. Remember gives a chance to have a perfect recall, so if the player can't remember something, they could try to use this spell, and it gives you the absolute ability to remember perfectly anything that's happened. So you got to know what you're trying to remember, and then basically, even though the player or character didn't take a good note, etc., the DM is supposed to give you the answer. Locate answer allows you to find a place, a geography, where the answer is. So it doesn't tell you the answer, it tells you where to go and where you can look and see the answer. So that could have some use, I suppose. Luck adds 5 to any die rolls. Plus or minus is you choose to either add 2 to the people that you're allied with or take 2 away from people you're not allied with. The kind of thing you would cast in battle or right before battle, probably. Speak with spirits allows you to summon and talk with the spirit of the dead. It gives you a couple of turns, and it suggests the DM should tend to answer these things in riddles. Judge, which is the one that's down here, number 5 in the 4th level spells, allows the caster to divine certain facts about a person, character type, level, ability scores, which is kind of odd since those scores are representative and not real numbers, but or alignment. And there's a % chance that those are going to be correct. Believe will cause one person to believe whatever the caster tells him or her. And charm, which is what's cut off as charm person. On the 5th level spells, call thunder, it says basically just makes a crack of thunder and deafens anyone within a half mile, and then will have the effect of a fear spell. Sight gives you sort of like true seeing and makes it possible to see in the past and know certain truths. Curse subtracts 5 on all rolls from the person it's cast on if they fail their saving throw. Fate kill speeds up fate to present and brings the person to the moment of their death. So how about that? Whatever the cause would be, whether that's a disease or accident or a fatal blow. Life trapping, it says it's like the mirror spell. They go into the caster's mind and they stay there until he calls them out or he is killed. So I guess you sort of trap them inside your own mind. And missile of finding is an invisible missile that goes after anyone the caster wants, sort of like a magic missile. But remember, that spell didn't exist in the original rules. And then Oracle Eye is basically the same as Wizard Eye under Magic User spell. Legend Lore, same as the Magic User spell. And those are from the supplemental books like Greyhawk, etc. And here's a little bit of artwork of the prophet from the fanzine. Okay, that one took a little bit. The rest of these go pretty quickly. They've got a new armor system. They apply different number of armor points, different types of armor: shields, chainmail, ringmail, gauntlets, bracers, greaves, etc. And then you use this in connection with the next one, which is their hit location system. And so first, it makes combat more complicated, right? So first you see if you hit, you see where you hit, because they have different armor classes, different parts of the body. Then you see if you hit that particular part based on the armor class of, say, a helmet or a shield or leg coverings, etc. So there's a chance to hit here. There's a location that's randomly determined. Doesn't allow called shots. It's random where the hit would land. Then they have a table for love or lust. I don't particularly care for it, but if they even make it a intelligence-based thing where based on your intelligence there's a chance that you're overcome with love or lust. Then they have new monsters, and you guys know I love this. This is basically expanding trolls to make them varied types. So we have civilized, what they call stone trolls, cave trolls, hill trolls, wood trolls, mountain trolls, and river trolls. It's sort of like what they did with the giants, and so their armor class gets better, their hit dice gets better, etc. Then wilderness or dungeon seems like it's going to be a headline for a discussion about a campaign. This particular one have some random tables for possessions of the men that are encountered, obviously women, elves, dwarves, etc. Random NPCs, right? And it gives you a chance of different types of weapons, armor, treasure, miscellaneous, etc. And they've got some charts for that. They've got an editorial. They want to talk about alignment. They say alignment was sort of which remember at that time is lawful, neutral, good. I'm sorry, lawful, neutral, chaotic, and that's it. And they say this was really a stand-in for religion. Now that religions there have been books released to give you different deities, specific deities, that you should forget alignment and just use the deities, because they say it's odd. People tend to be tribal, so followers of Thor would like each other, probably. But just because someone had the same alignment, if they were from a different religion, we all know they wouldn't necessarily, even though they're both lawful, for example, they wouldn't necessarily get along. And so their suggestion is get rid of alignment altogether, put religions into your game with specific deities, and then let people interact on that basis. Here's the telephone numbers. Obviously, I blocked out the numbers. They're probably not still valid, but just, that's the thing to do. But this is just to show you what it was, and it was a list of people. If anyone's watching this, then hopefully somebody knows one of these people and can give us a little bit of insight. Hopefully they're still around. Give us a little insight about what was going on with this gaming group from Colombia, Missouri. Here's what they call their humor. It's the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Kobolds. It's a tongue-in-cheek article suggesting that you shouldn't kill kobolds, and encouraging people not to kill them the next time they encounter them in a dungeon, so that their race doesn't get wiped out by all these adventurers that have suddenly shown up. Here's the cartoon. As I mentioned, if you stick around after that, I sort of say my goodbyes. I'm going to let you guys see this cartoon so you can read through it. It's, I think, 5 pages long here. I've skimmed ahead. It's in every one of these fanzines, quite a large comic at the end of each of them. And that's, clearly they had some people with artistic talent in their group, so kudos to them. All right, that is it for Dungeons Chronicle number 1. As I said, I've got 1 through 6. We'll take a few weeks here and look at these. They're really fun. I love these things that are at the very beginning of when people were playing Dungeons and Dragons. So as you can tell from the fanzines we've looked at, people all over the United States and the UK and probably every other country that had the game are coming up with similar ideas on their own, but everyone's got their own twist, their own flair and flavor to what they're doing, and it's always fun to take a look at that. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. Hope you're subscribed. Hope you'll ask your friends to give our channel a look, and hopefully they can become subscribers as well. Have a great weekend, and until next time, keep rolling 20s.